Why your best customers can't buy from you and the proof of scarcity ladder Universal used to get 153,000 per screen. The one play here that turns a supply limit into your most credible marketing asset. In this video, we're going to cover the play, 41 rooms, 153,000 per screen, and the sellouts that became the ad campaign. We're going to look at the same move at Taco Bell, 70 hotel rooms, gone in 2 minutes, 0 paid media. And we're going to ask the question why nobody can copy it. No new IMAX film projector has been built in about 50 years. This is the proof of scarcity ladder at the strategy signal. Let's dive in. So the proof of scarcity ladder strategic pattern for this marketing campaign is where you build progressively scarcer levels of access where each scarcer level is genuinely better. Then you let the demand that creates become the evidence of your claim. So ordinary scarcity sales tend to buy because there aren't many. In this play, there aren't many because this version is hard to reproduce, and the scramble proves to people their belief the difference is real. The burden of proof moves off your advertising and onto your distribution, which is one of the cool little levers that you can always pull as a business. We just don't have as many of these because they keep selling out, right? What Universal did here is that they built 6 different aspects: the film in the theater, the film in IMAX, the film in IMAX 70mm across 41 venues worldwide, opening weekend 70mm, then specific seats at the best rooms. So tickets for opening weekend went on sale July 17, 2025, exactly 12 months before the release, and they were gone in minutes. Sorry, that should be July 17, 2026. With one insider putting it at 95% of seats sold and the bulk inside the first hour. Then the sellouts became the press. The press became the campaign. So this is a great entertainment marketing strategy right here. The results were 52 million from IMAX on opening weekend, 20% of the film's global debut, and the 41 true 70mm rooms did 6.3 million of that in 3 days, $153,000 per screening. That's a pretty good payout. So what to watch for here? We're going to look at Universal's Odyssey rollout. There's a certain creative angle I want you to notice. The campaign never argues that the film is an event. It arranges the conditions so that the audience says it instead. What Universal sells is not the movie, but rather they're selling the difference between versions of the movie. So watch it regular, watch it IMAX, watch it 70mm IMAX, right? So maybe this also creates repeat customers. Hey, I want to see it in 70mm. What's that all about, right? And also the copywriting move here. Notice what's absent. There's no urgency language. There's no countdown. There's no limited time, but they're using a scarcity model. So what do? The scarcity is stated as logistics and not as pressure. When IMAX explains why only 41 rooms exist, the explanation is projector weight and booth size. That reads as a fact about the world rather than a sales tactic. The facts about the world don't trigger the defenses that urgency copy does. So first off, watch for filmed for IMAX replaces premium format. One phrase describes how it was made. The other describes what you're upsold to. Only the first one earns a price difference. Second thing to watch out for is the teaser ran in theaters only attached to Jurassic World Rebirth. The delivery channel carries the argument. If the footage is worth a trip, the film is worth the trip. Number 3, no countdown timer anywhere. A 409-day campaign. The 1 year early on sale did that job, and the audience supplied the urgency themselves. So you've probably already seen the trailer. You've probably already seen the movie, but I just wanted to point out those things right here. What if I can't really becomes the question. What if you can't make it home? And because of all these obstacles. So let's just talk a little bit about why this pattern works now, where this pattern wins, should you run it, and how to implement it. So real quick, Why this pattern runs now. First off, the economics flipped. Reuters reported theaters sold 470.9 million tickets through the first 30 weeks of 2026, which was against the 747.3 million in the same stretch of 2019. Average adult ticket was $13.46. Max IMAX premium was 18.22. Fewer people are paying more for a better room, and IMAX's own 10K shows it taking a record 5.2% of domestic box office on roughly 1% of its screens. That's a pretty good margin. Number two, the other reason why this works right now is that the digital abundance made physical limits legible. Generative AI put infinite copies of everything within reach. Audiences stopped believing software waitlist and only 500 spots available because everyone can just see the marginal cost is zero. A limit made of forklifts and steel reads differently. And number three, the scarce version was actually better. The Odyssey is the first commercial feature shot entirely with IMAX film cameras. The premium tier was the native format, and everything below it was just a compromise. So you had to watch in IMAX to get the full experience, which you can't do at home, which again moves us out of just the streaming value into the in-person value. So the window is still very much open right now in entertainment. It closes when your audience decides your constraint is a choice rather than a fact. So where else did this pattern win? Well, it also worked with Taco Bell, which is quick service restaurants. It worked with Dior and Jordan Brand in luxury footwear, and it even worked in Tesla within automotive. Within Taco Bell, the Bell, a real hotel in Palm Springs, summer 2019. Reservations opened June 27th, and roughly 70 rooms sold out in about 2 minutes. The agency claims zero paid media, though that figure comes from its own awards entry. A property built for hundreds, engineered so the story of not getting in reached millions. Number two, Dior and Jordan Brand within luxury footwear. Air Dior, June 2020, registration drew roughly 5 million entries against 8,000 pairs released publicly, high tops at $2,200. And the right to buy became the scarce good, and the rejection ratio became part of what people were actually buying. And number three was Tesla and automotive. March 2016, Tesla's own SEC filing states it received more than 325,000 Model 3 reservations within 1 week. And the filing is also careful that the reservation doesn't constitute an order, and you can borrow that discipline. So should you be running this pattern with your client or with your own business? 4 considerations and a red flag. First off, is your constraint structurally real, or could you make more tomorrow? Universal physically cannot add rooms. McDonald's could always have made more sauce, and customers read that instantly as just bad planning. Number two, is the scarce tier genuinely better or just harder to get? Superior plus scarce equals privilege. Ordinary plus scarce equals resentment. This is where most scarcity campaigns can actually die. Number three, does your brand have enough standing to survive a public test? A 1-year early on sale is a demand referendum held in public. If those 41 rooms sit half empty, the story becomes that nobody actually wanted it. And number four, can everyone else still buy the ordinary version easily? This is kind of the streaming problem that theaters have been stuck in ever since Netflix. Universal never made the film hard to see. It made the best version hard to see. That's very important. Broad product with a scarce top tier works. Scarce product with everyone else turned away does not. And the one red flag I want to just point out is if your top tier sells out because you're under product or underproduced rather than because you can't produce more, your customers will find out and read it as incompetence. So how do you implement this? There's about 5 steps. Number one, you got to find the real constraint you already own. Number two, make the scarce tier measurably superior. Number three, run scarcity before reach, not after it. Number four, publish the constraints economics. And number five, capture everyone who tried and failed to buy. This is the asset almost nobody builds, and it's worth more than the sale that you missed. Now, just my POV on this, the excluded audience didn't wait for this product. One of them shipped software. Think about Andrew Baker, an engineer in San Francisco, built iMaxing.io. This was a tool that watches 70 millimeter seat maps and alerts you the second a cancellation opens. It had more than 1,300 users inside a week. He isn't just reselling anything. And at the time of the reporting, he hadn't seen the film himself. He built access infrastructure for strangers trying to get into a room that he also couldn't get into. And that behavior breaks the standard model. A queue waits for someone to serve it, and the audience organized, built tools, and set its own norms while the right holder sold them nothing. And in London, the BFI IMAX went further than any studio did, publishing a hard rule that tickets cannot be resold for higher than 20% of the original purchase price. A queue wants in. A congregation wants a door to mean something, but most companies can't tell which one they have until they've already destroyed it. And by the way, here's the forecast on the Odyssey, not just the Odyssey, but really the forecast on this strategy pattern. First off, the obvious forecast is that brands are going to learn how to meter exclusion and raise prices on the people who get in. The evidence points elsewhere. IMAX's response to the scramble was to add supply. They searched for projectors, added them in dozens of theaters, scheduled screenings between midnight and 3 a.m., and extended the 70 millimeter run from August 19th to September 16th. The constraint holder tried to serve the excluded audience right up to the physical the physical limit, and then physics stopped it. What gets copied next is likely to venue revival or rival or revival and adjacency projects, not just price hikes. Glendale's Alex Theater had not screened a first-run film since Terminator 2 in 1991. It spent roughly $500,000 on a 70 millimeter install and became the highest growing 70 millimeter venue in the country. That was a good investment on their part. It has already booked Dune Part 3 and Gerwig's Narnia. So here's 3 things to watch for in the next 6 to 12 months. First thing is a dormant venue revival that pays off without a Nolan tier filmmaker attached. The Alex's Narnia booking of February 2027 is a natural test. If it works there, this is repeatable execution strategy rather than a one director anomaly. Number 2, the first official proof of attendance product from any right holder. Film cells, print provenance, retired print artifacts, nobody has shipped one. Medieval shrines figured this out 8 centuries ago and sold cast-lead badges by the 100,000. Number 3, the first competent verified resale product from a studio or an exhibitor. Watch the 30 days after it ships, not whether it sells, but if compliant language moves from blaming scalpers to blaming the brand, the play is turning its owner. So I do think this is enormously open right now. Nobody has named this play in practitioner language, and nobody is really selling to the excluded audience. So it closes when a major brand ships an access product from a framing flip. 12 to 18 months horizon, I see theatrical exposition and live events ticketing move first because the constraint is physical and already visible. Limited drop physical product follows. Where the drop exists, the second tier does not. So what to start this week? Pull the list of everyone who tried to buy from you and couldn't. If that list doesn't exist, that might be your finding. Hey, this is Matt from the Strategy Signal. Everyone reads the same campaigns. Nobody forecasts where they're going next. The next industry to run the Proof-of-Scarcity Ladder will do it in the next 12 to 18 months. Subscribe to know which one before your clients' competitors do. Catch you later. Bye for now.